Hello! Welcome back.
Good to see you all again.
Nice to be seen.
Indeed. And good to see you, Ting.
Oh, thank you.
Happy New Year. Hey everyone. Hi. So we're just setting up for filming, but we're doing a bit of crafting first. And Áine's doing...
Some square matching.
And over there, Ting, you're doing the Puff Quilt, is that right?
Puff Quilt, yes.
Look, a hive of activity, and you'll find out about these more upcoming in a minute. See you.
I just realised I'm blending in with the wall.
You're gonna disappear, aren't you?
Yes. So yeah, it's good to get into that. What's your project there, Áine?
So, just had somebody come in, so we're going to just have a look. I have finally started pinning together. This is stage 1 of about stage 100. Pinning together all my squares of my Harry Potter squares, matching them with this yellow grunge and a plain black.
I don't think you fully appreciate how long that's going to take.
I know it's going to take me about a year, let's be real, especially because it's going to be dribs and drabs. But yes, finally started pinning, so it is a start, and I'm not going to stress about it. I'm just going to gradually chip away at it. And I do have other sewing projects and other crochet projects and other knitting projects I also want to do at the same time, so
Yeah,
it's going to take a while.
But I think if you just do it piecemeal, so, you know, like I said, make a few half square triangles and put them away, and then suddenly they'll all be done if you make a few.
Well, this is it. I'll just put on a good film, and
or if the weather is particularly horrible, 4 hours in the sewing room.
Be lush. So yes, so
I'm very
excited.
She's just gone to check her pattern, and she's going to be back in again. Oh yeah, hello. So I'll perch.
Yes, so we're talking about the fact that this is going to take me about a year, I think, to complete.
It won't take a year.
But by the time I finally get around to doing it all, it's going to take a while. But that's fine. It's fine. But you've determined this is the year of the quilt. I'm aware it's just been the Chinese New Year. I think it's the year of the rat. But for you, it's the year of the quilt.
Well, I just, you know what it's like when you're doing, I mean, I don't knit, but I crochet, and you start a project and then it goes slung in the back of the cupboard.
Somebody has a cupboard of doom. Is it a cupboard of doom, you call it?
Yes. And there's like half-finished projects all over the place.
I think between you and Jen, you're gradually finishing them, right?
Yeah, so it's nice to sometimes open up and remember what you were doing 4 years ago.
It's your own time capsule.
And then a couple more stitches and then throw it back in the cupboard again.
I'll get round to it eventually.
But with a quilt, they make up so quickly. You know, even though you've got this huge pile here, once you actually get going, suddenly you have a quilt. And you know, I spent 4 hours last weekend just sewing, and I didn't even realise it was 4 hours. I kind of looked at my watch and was like, oh crikey, I need to go get on with something else. So you know, they make up fairly quickly. And
but it's a fantastically absorbing thing. It's something that I walked in and I wasn't entirely sure what was going on when I walked in.
So this is the current...
I kind of walked in and went, what are you doing?
This is the current project.
This is fabulous. I just walked into a dark room with this, and it lit up, and I was very pleased.
Because it's glow in the dark.
Oh yes, yeah, it's not.
She didn't get lost on the way.
I ended up in Neverland. No, so the unicorns and things light up. It's fab.
Yes.
It's so good.
So
Glow in the dark.
I saw this fabric and I loved it, and I didn't know what I was going to do with it, so I didn't buy it because it was from another shop.
Oh, we don't talk about that.
And then literally 2 days later, I saw a YouTube video talking about these puff quilts.
Would you like to hold it? Sorry,
I've got plenty here, haven't I? And then I was like, well, my niece's birthday is in February, so I figured, you know, the person who never finishes a project will get this done in about 3 weeks. So
good to have a deadline.
But then, like I said, last Sunday I sat and I made. What you have to do is make a little pocket. So you get a 4-inch square and a 5-inch square, and you pleat it as you sew round, and you sew up the 3, and then you stuff it, and then you sew up the 4th one.
Ah, okay.
And then you don't need to wad it in a quilt. You simply just put a backing on to cover up the stitching on the back.
Wow.
And so I sat down and I made about 90 of these last week. And then all throughout this week, I've been very good after work. Instead of collapsing on the sofa, which is what I normally do, I've then been filling them and sewing them up. And then I've come over here today to start to sew them into rows. So I've put... It's going to be this wide, it's going to be this wide, and then there's going to be 12 rows, so it kind of just go over the foot of the bed sort of thing.
It'll be beautiful. It's so soft and squishy.
I also came over to find some sort of backing to go on there as well, so
yeah,
I've got my measurements, so once we've finished filming I'll go rustling around in the fabric and see if I can find something.
But it is fabulous. It is so soft. It's so squishy.
Yeah, well, it's toy stuffing in there instead of, like, it's not like the wadding.
Yeah,
you know,
okay.
it's toy stuffing, so it'll be lovely and soft.
Do you think that's kind of worked out cheaper than making a normal quilt, or is it still because you haven't got the wadding in there?
Well, obviously, you've had to make these pockets, so I had to buy extra fabric because normally you just have the fabric on the top and your backing.
Yeah.
So I've had to buy that, but then the toy stuffing. You can get a Mahusive bag from Dunelm for £9.
Is that metric or?
That is imperial measurement. 3 grains make a Mahusive. But it kind of stands that tall, and I used that much of it. So when you consider you'd probably pay £20-30 for the wadding versus how much it costs to buy a metre of white fabric. So it probably will work out cheaper simply because of the wadding.
Yeah.
And then, of course, the backing will just be plain. But this was, you know, full price, proper quilting cotton. So
it's fabulous. I love it. It's so colourful and fun.
And the pattern came from, is it like one of those that are doing the rounds on
it's just I saw someone on YouTube doing it and thought, well, I can do that.
Yeah, you most definitely can. If you got me quilting, I'm sure you can do this.
And we've always talked about that. That's the beauty of YouTube, isn't it? That it works you out. It works out what to show and what to recommend, and it can inspire you so much, can't it?
Yeah, massively so. And that's really good. I'm looking forward to seeing that finished. You can check out Ting. You have to share it on your Instagram now when you finish it.
I will do. I was hoping to finish it today, but we had to stop for filming apparently. So.
Rude.
Sorry.
That's
the most important bit. So it's Christmas Eve in the shop, and I feel like I'm in a Dickens novel. But anyway, we're going to do some binding because it's probably going to be quiet. You never know, we might get some customers today. But I've got our tiny Tots quilt. Can you remember we talked about this on a Woolly Wednesday? Look. And I quilted it yesterday. And all I've got left to do now is the binding, so I thought, well, we could do that today as it's Christmas Eve. So I have cut 4 strips, 2.5 inch from the width of fabric off the bolt. Have I cut 5? I think I've cut 5 actually, because each one was about 1 metre long, so it was going to be a close one. So I've cut 5 strips. So we get one end of a strip and the t'other end of the strip, and we do the classic cross. There's the selvage on the right, there's the selvage at the top, and then I'm just going to sew down there. Not even going to draw a line, just going to eyeball it. Where they've all been joined. So that's the cross, and of course you're just going to like fold it open. Voila! I'm just now going to cut those crossy bits off, and then we'll go over to the ironing station and do my favourite bit, which is just iron in half. And then we'll have our binding like that. Binding is the best bit, you know. Pivot and you go off to the corner, so you're just turning it round and then literally sort of the corner. And what that does is if you went oh, let's just focus that, there we go. If you went straight off the end, you wouldn't be able to fold this back and up right like that, you see. So actually stopping 1/4 of an inch and going off diagonally, which is basically into the corner of that, means when you lift it up to get that line, it's just easy to lift, ready to then, so you're lifting it up so it runs parallel. Let's do it like that, there we go. So it's lifting up, and then you're going to fold it back down on itself, like that, ready to sew down the new edge. So ready now just to fold over, and then hand sew on the back. Oh, it'll be lovely, won't it? Playful puppy, nearly complete. Well, I've done Playful puppy. Da-da.
Great, I'm the only one on camera. Let me go that way.
Fabulous. Thanks, Ting. And remember, it's a panel, but it's a lovely big panel.
You can take it
because, you know, if it was patchwork, that would have been a patchwork border, and then your outer border, and then another border, and then your binding. But the beauty of a panel is it's all there and included, so it didn't take very long at all.
So you just stitched around the outside to add a bit of definition?
Yes, yeah, because
one might call that cheating.
Pardon? I know, but if
days.
If you're
weeks,
years.
what have we got here?
But
so,
you know,
but it's a good for a new
I think
quilter.
So. Yeah,
massively.
Especially to get used to following a line and.
Yeah. Yes, because you can practice your quilting, doing the straight line quilting, And then you haven't got so, because if you're doing free motion quilting, that's quite demanding, isn't it? When you're going round and pushing it around. Whereas that, you could just go straight through. And if you haven't got much room on your neck on your sewing machine, if you've got a big quilt, that's hard to do anyway, isn't it?
It is. It's just a lot of rolling and folding. I'll show you how to do that.
Yeah, thank you.
But I only did it, once, then round there and round there. I might... for a little bit of fun, because I've done no quilting in this middle bit, and you could argue, what's the widest you want to quilt apart without anything? Is it 10 inches apart?
Normally, yeah.
Yeah, so you could outline...
So I think I might outline Teddy, or actually I might get some thicker sort of hand or embroidery thread and go round the butterflies and the hearts.
Because that was when we seen that quilting show, there was some that was embroidered.
That's right, yeah. And it looked really good, didn't it?
It's fabulous.
Yeah. But the
Practice
binding,
your stitching ready for your, what was it, Japanese?
Yes, my shishiko.
Yes,
yes, good thinking. But so it's a good quilt if you want to make something quick and easy for for the little one.
And you're not as worried about it if it's something that has been easy. If it does get damaged,
yes, yeah,
by a little baby,
you haven't lost too much work.
This being white, that would worry me. I feel it would spend more time in the washing machine than it was anywhere else.
Yeah, but no, if it's down on your play mat or something, it'd be okay.
And it comes with its coordinate backing, so you've got the dots on the back. Yes. Ta-da.
A nice bit of binding around here.
Indeed, and I did the binding. I thought, I've got too much on. Will I pass it to Jen? I definitely did the binding.
Oh, well done.
Cross my heart.
Check the stitching out.
But I like binding. Any of you like binding? I know a lot of people don't like binding.
I've never... Jen did my binding. I've never actually binded.
Mine either gets turned inside out or it
comes over
to Jen.
Yeah, she's so good at it.
I mean, you could do that as well.
I don't think Jen would appreciate us giving all of it.
Binding isn't everyone's cup of tea because of the time it takes. So you could just get rid of that binding completely and, as you say, just back to back, sew it around, leave a little hole, bag it the right way.
Although I did see online that you can get a proper binding foot for your sewing machine.
Wow.
So that when you feed it in, there's like a lip on the thing that makes sure that it folds under, and then when you're stitching it goes through, because that's why you don't do it on your machine using an ordinary foot, because if you stitch through you could miss it on this side or it'll come out and it will show whereas this foot kind of folds the fabric around there and makes sure that the needle goes through.
That's clever.
And I was like, well, if anyone's going to invest in that one, that'll be me. But
oh, that's clever. That'd be really fancy.
So
if anyone's got a binding foot,
let us know. Yeah,
worth investing.
So that's
especially if this is going to be your year of quilting.
That's all right, Jen will do
it. So it's your year of quilting. Yeah,
you do this king size quilt, Jen.
Our year of sewing. We're all really going for the sewing this year, aren't we?
What's your next stash?
This is nice fabric. I would have loved to have this in the shop.
So it wasn't from this shop.
You're so rude, Ting.
But you've got to buy. This is where,
buy what you love.
And we've talked about it with you before. Buying
the colours.
You've got to buy a whole bolt, and of course, for the collection to look good, you need to buy a lot of bolts. Really. Yeah. Well, there's nearly, what did you say, 18 in the collection?
I think it was 18 in the collection.
18 bolts.
Yeah.
It's a big investment, isn't it? Yeah, just can't imagine.
You do what I do. I come and I get all my, I got my yellow grunge from here, and I got my black, and you get your other.
Yeah, well, I've picked the background fabric, accent fabric, I should say.
But this is lovely. So this is from Moda.
This is from Moda, and it's from. I had the name this morning, didn't I?
Yes, the V and.
What is it? It's called V & Co.
Yeah.
And it's the Confetti Ombre. Oh. So it goes. So within there, you've got the dark going right the way through to the light. So actually, when you cut that up into squares or whatever you want to do with it, you're going to get different colours.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I've got that, and I've got a pattern that I want to do with that, but I haven't just got that. I've got one of those. So
that's brilliant.
Glorious.
But that's right. But that's
we've got all of those and all those lovely ombres going from the light to the dark.
Because when you talked about ombres, I thought you were doing an ombre quilt. I didn't realise the fabric was ombre.
Yeah, but this is just the start. This, again, trying to find this in the UK was a nightmare because I've only just found out about it. But this is about 6 months old and you can't find it. They're releasing another one which is different, more pastel colours, and I don't think it has the metallic on it.
Oh.
No, because the metallic makes it a bit more expensive as well.
It was just trying to find it online in the UK was really difficult. But the ombre fabric is out there. It's coming through as plain fabric. Some have got these little dots and metallic stuff and other things on, but the ombre fabric seems to be the up and coming thing. Yeah.
But you say we joke and you bought all the colours, but would you argue that most customers are going to be doing that? So if I found the investment to do that, would I not have to worry? Because customer isn't just going to buy one colour. They're going to do what you did, aren't they?
I had to do this because they didn't have any pre-cut.
Oh, the jelly roll.
If they had a pre-cut, I would have bought the pre-cut. Because now I've got to cut all of these into 2.5 inch strips. And I'm going to get, I'm going to get 28 because I'm going to do 2 from each, 2 blocks from each colour. But actually I've got enough to do 4 blocks from each colour. So I said I'd make up the first 28 and see what it looks like. And if I want to make more, I'll do it with the rest of it. But
did they do the jelly rolls or were they just out of stock?
I think you could at one point get the jelly rolls, but again, because I was late to the game with this ombre fabric, you just couldn't get them anywhere.
Yeah.
And then I luckily found a shop that had got the range, but they all had to be cut as fat quarters, which they were able to do. But
be interested to see if you've used any of the ombre fabric. Let us know if you have. Is it specific project? Well, I suppose it is specific projects only. Because
I think you've seen the pattern that I want to do this with, and it actually plays on the ombre. But even if you were doing something like you've got here, just having the different. You probably wouldn't buy the stuff with the metallic on, but if it was just a plain fabric, you'd have the different gradients, so it'd just add a bit more interest. Because if you'd had that mustard as an ombre, you'd have some half square triangles that were more creamier, some that were really dark, and it would just add a bit more interest to the quilt.
Mixes it up a bit more. Bit more intrigue, but yes, it's fabulous. So you can keep an eye on his Instagram, see how well he's
because the crocheting is just taking far too long.
Yeah, you were doing a blanket. Did you finish the blanket?
No, and I didn't finish the scarf.
Oh yeah, you were doing that too.
And I haven't finished the little animal. I started the animal, the whale.
Did? Yes. But sometimes it's nice to go through projects like that. Put it down. Like you pick up your crochet.
Yeah, like my blanket that took.
The good thing with crochet and knitting is that you can sit and do that in your living room in front of the telly.
Yeah.
Whereas obviously to do any of this, I have to set everything. Yeah. Well, everything's set upstairs anyway.
Yeah, but you have to be in your sewing room.
But you have to be in the sewing room. I mean, I have a little telly in there to keep me going. Yeah. But you have to have in your mind that you're going to sit and you need to have the time to do that. Where knitting and crochet, you can go up and do a few and then sling it back in the bag. He was doing sewing, but he started his knit along, didn't he?
Oh yes.
Yes. Do you want to see a bit of it?
Yes,
I'll get it for you. Yes. So this is with the Fibre Hustle, and I know there are many people joining in, and I thought I would do it because of the wool fair that we're doing with my woad stand. So I thought, well, I need to start getting more things blue, but I've never done a shawl before.
Yeah.
So
you mean you don't wear shawls?
No, don't.
Snoots, cowls,
and
it looks like a shark fin right now.
Yeah. Well, you start, it's like a right angle at the top there. So you start at the bottom, cast on 6 stitches, and you always increase on the hypotenuse.
Oh, look at you as if you know what that means.
No.
And you increase up, and then you have every so often you have a garter row. There's 6 garter rows there. So there's a bit of a break from the lace pattern. But then, as you can see, you then have the lace pattern in the middle.
I thought it'd be lovely when it's knit up.
Yes. So
well,
the beauty of
along, so yes,
so that helps to inspire you. And Aaron.
So how does it work as a knit along then?
Well, he's done it really well, because sometimes, what it's like with a sew along as well, they can be a tad pressured where they introduce a new block on Monday and you have that week to sew the block ready for the next block to be released. And if you get behind, you're then under pressure all the time. But Aaron set it up well, you start on the 18th of January and then all you have to do is post your progress. And it finishes. We aim to finish on the 18th of February.
So he's not. So that's it. He's not like then saying, "Oh, this week you change it."
No. It's just this idea
so it's
that
a repeating pattern.
You're all joining in. You're all
and you're
knitting.
Just keeping in touch socially.
Indeed. Yeah. Facebook
media
is a group, or using the hashtag. So if you wanted to see everyone's developing shawls, you can do. But the beauty of the pattern is
we'll share the hashtag somewhere on screen or down below.
The beauty of the pattern is because it's got this garter ridge row and then this lace pattern, it's a bit like making a cake, that if you wanted a longer lace pattern, you just keep repeating the lace pattern.
Okay.
So that's where...
How is that like making a cake?
Well, you adapt your recipe, don't you?
Maybe he's making a trifle.
Well, I suppose you have a recipe... But you're not necessarily following the actual recipe.
It's not like baking at all, really.
Well, you have a
I wasn't going to say anything.
But you make it up, I suppose.
Do you not do that in baking?
So, well, it might work well, though, mightn't it?
Also, don't do it when someone's written a pattern for you.
Well, it's the flexibility is there. So if I actually wanted, rather than 5 of the lace holes there, and I wanted 10, then I could just do more of those if I wanted to.
Because you're not waiting for another
no
change.
It's just you're adjusting to how you would like it, basically.
And I suppose the enjoyable thing is as well that if you then search the hashtag, you might then see different variations on a theme, as it were.
It'd be interesting about seeing it knitted up in all the different yarns.
Yes, some wonderful colours, some solid colours. How some people have chosen variegated, dark variegated, and they perhaps necessarily haven't worked as well. And they've even said that on the group. Oh, I think I might rip it out and do another colour, because you can't then see the lace work as much.
What yarn have you used?
So I've used my own yarn. I'm going to try and do a fade set, maybe. So it's 4-ply. Blueface Leicester British yarn that I dyed with woad, and it's obviously going to get bigger, and grow up like that sort of thing. And I might change to another darker woad and then a really dark at the top.
What, 3 balls that size, or are you talking about changing?
I think I'll probably stop halfway through, because if I did three 100 grams.
And how big are they? They're 100 grams.
100 grams, yeah. But with the beauty of a 100 gram ball of 4-ply is it will go a long way, a very long way. You have a lot more yardage. And actually, interesting, we were talking about this earlier, that's going to be one of our upcoming videos, is
wool weight.
Wool weight, yeah. We were talking about it this morning, because there are a lot of people, January now, taking up knitting. We've had lots of classes in the shop, people learning to knit.
I know, that's why I haven't been over.
Yes, it's true.
He bans me because he's got paying customers.
Rude.
And you are answering that question a lot about what is 4-ply. Or someone will come in and ask, have you got any 2-ply yarn? And that's quite a difficult question to answer, because...
Well, no, you don't.
Well,
but I don't even...
Well, technical 2-ply I don't, because that's like very lace weight. But there are some chunky yarns that are plied with just 2-plies. So you could argue that you do have.
Yeah.
Because
I don't fully
manufacturers
understand it myself, to be honest.
Well, there we are. That's our next video then.
Oh, excellent.
So that's my knitting project. So that's what I'm doing at home in the evenings. And then we're going to be doing more sewing as well. So I'm going to be back in on garment sewing. And how our friend Mr.
for me.
You open that
It's like
one.
Christmas with the brown paper.
You open that one, Áine. I'll open this one.
I recognise some of that fabric.
Yes.
Oh,
So are these to sell in the shop?
To sell and to show off. So we have all different types of pickles, human
little
pickles.
pickle. I'm going to be your little pickle.
Softy pickle.
We're going to be friends. It's cuddle when it's dark until the night ends. Tell me all your secrets. I'll keep them safe with me. A magical world awaits. Let's go and see. I need one of them for my neck.
How wonderful are they?
Tell me all your secrets. They'll be safe with me.
no. I have softy pickle. Who have you got?
I've got softy pickle. It's like pussycat. But it's made
Little pickle.
Yeah.
with our Robert Kaufman Essex linen fabric, the clothes,
That's a
little
and the
pickle.
actual pickles. But how wonderful it is!
Do you have a human?
Made in Suffolk.
I have a rabbit. No, this is a rabbit, I think.
No, that's a rabbit.
But one of my
Rabbit
friends I was
custards.
telling you about, Lee, he's been making these, his own business, where he's sewing away, probably sewing away as we speak. Isn't
Well
it just
done,
wonderful?
aren't they?
Aren't they? Yes. But they were bigger than I thought. I didn't realise they were that
Yeah.
big. So they were wonderful. So these are going to be in the shop. Me and Jen are doing the display on Monday. Oh, look at you there. So I'll be sewing, you're sewing, you'll be finishing that off, you're doing your patchwork. We're all sewing. So we want to see what you're sewing too, so keep us updated with that.
Yes.
Oh, and next Saturday we've got James McIntosh coming.
Yes, so there'll be a video all about that as
Special
well.
one
Yes.
there. Coming to tell us all about it. We're looking forward to it. All sold out, 40 tickets. Yeah.
So thank you very much for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe and tell all your friends and leave us a comment and get involved. And
Yeah.
we'll see,
See you
you
next time.
Always a pleasure.
Bye. Bye.